Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Boo-Foons, mystery investigators.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! And welcome to the Boo-Foons Mystery Investigator. I suppose I should have said boo, boo, boo instead of ho, ho, ho. No, no, no. Okay. Anyway, welcome to the Boo-Foons. It is, well, if you're listening on the day of release, it's Christmas Eve. If you're not listening on the day of release, then
It was Christmas
it was
Eve.
Christmas Eve.
Humbug. Yeah.
And we're doing a Christmas special today, where we're looking at, well, why did the Victorians do ghost stories at Christmas? It was a big tradition, and we've got a few ghost stories to share with you today, like the Victorians would have done. Yeah,
Yeah, just not so good. Not so convincing. Yeah. But we'll try. We'll try. I mean, I used to love watching Channel 4. Every Christmas, Channel 4 used to have really good old-fashioned ghost stories on. And it was brilliant. They had a season. They'd always put Ghost Story on Christmas Eve. I remember there was a whole series they put over a few years, like the Chinese ghost stories, which just hysterical. Mr. Vampire, stuff like that. We need more Christmas ghost stories. It was a great tradition for a while. I can see why the Victorians did it, because when you're sitting around a fire, all your family together, and it's nice and snug, and you're telling the story, and you got your decorations up there, and you just had a nice bit of food. What better to sit around and talk about ghost stories?
Yeah, and of course, winter solstice being the longest night, it has always, well, it was historically seen as a time when the boundary between the physical world and the spiritual world was at its weakness. So therefore,
That's
the
Halloween,
long.
That's Halloween. That's when it's. See, they just want it all, don't they?
Yeah, well,
Christmas, Halloween.
according to the Victorian and why Victorians had
July the
ghosts,
5th.
they said
sometime around August. Sorry, it's just whenever it's convenient. Bloody Christians.
yes, but winter solstice can't be Halloween, surely, because we would have just had summer solstice not long before.
But that Halloween was basically, wasn't it? It wasn't. It was just a turn. Halloween was our last special. That was the veil where it was the thin between
Winter solstice.
living and the dead.
Winter solstice this year was.
Well, we started this one well.
Was a couple of days ago on the 21st of December.
Yeah.
So winter solstice is Christmas.
Yeah, but that had nothing to do with the veil was Halloween. That's what that was there for, Sam Hain. This was just because people were just sitting around and they were cold and bored.
Well, they said that because it was long, dark nights of winter, it has the perfect backdrop for supernatural and spooky tales. And if you think about the pagan festival, which was before Christians turned it into a Christmas thing, it was a celebration in the middle of the darkness. That was the whole point of the pagan celebration, was to bring some light and cheer to the darkest time of year.
Unless you were German and you brought Krampus in to kick the crap out of your kids.
Only the naughty ones.
You're all the naughty ones. Oh, Krampus, that's a good one. We've got to do that one eventually. With his little helpers, the ones who have been cancelled now. You can't do that.
But when yes, I know the story of Krampus.
And his little helpers. Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Officially not correct. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Germany.
Yeah. But yes, winter solstice. It is the darkest, and they did think that because it was the long nights, they did think that was when the spirit world, the link between physical and spirit world, that's what they thought it was the weakest. But in the Victorian era, they started to become very fascinated with the spiritual world and the darker side of life. And they started telling ghost stories at Christmas as a way to confront and engage the themes of death, loss, the unknown. And they'd be able to then tell a nice little story to be able to deal with the fact that someone's dead. And how do you do that? And of course, during the Victorian era, one of the most famous ghost stories was written, A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Fantastic story. Features four ghosts.
Mm.
Yeah.
Michael Caine was the best Scrooge.
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart was good.
Yeah. Well, if we're talking about Michael Caine Scrooge, then that story's got five ghosts.
Absolutely. So that's a proper ghost story.
Because instead of having Jacob Marley, you've got Marley and Marley.
You do have Marley and Marley, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Because Jacob Marley's the ghost that everybody seems to forget with that quiz question. Because they go, oh, yeah, you got the past, the present, and the future. Everyone seems to forget Jacob Marley is the first ghost that Scrooge sees.
Tells him gives him the plot. This is what's going to happen.
And of course, a few Christmases ago, I was Bob Cratchit.
You were.
Yeah.
And to me, you'll always be Bob Cratchit.
Yes, with my family.
Your vast family.
My vast family.
You've just let them all starve. That's the trouble. Yes, they all starved.
Yeah, that's because in real life I'm more like Scrooge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, no, years and years ago, me and Sandy went to see Patrick Stewart doing A Christmas Carol as a one-man show in London. And
oh, wow.
It was amazing watching this one. Obviously Patrick Stewart is Patrick Stewart on stage, just doing all the characters, sitting there just with the book, dressed up in his traditional Victorian outfit, just going through it, and it was captivating. You can see why, if you had somebody who could tell a story like that, especially in Victorian era, if you had somebody with those skills could tell you a ghost story, and you would be glued to it.
Yeah.
We were glued to it in this theatre with 1,000 people or whatever it was, a couple hundred people. We're just glued to everything, because if you're a good storyteller, you can tell everything.
Oh yes, definitely.
And I think people weren't they, back then in Victorian era, because this is how they made their entertainment. People were great storytellers. They were musicians. They could do their own things.
They would be. And of course, you've got the other thing of during that time, in the winter months, you are going to have a lot more illness, and therefore you are going to have a lot more death. So in the Victorian era, it was telling those ghost stories and hearing them would be a way of dealing with those feelings of losing loved ones. Yeah.
There's an interesting theory here about why ghost stories picked up in Victorian era, and that's because it was a way to explore things like guilt and grief and moral reckonings. So if you try to encourage people to be good, because obviously it was society steeped in Christianity, and it was a way of sort of talking about heaven, hell, and purgatory, and trying to convince people to do the right thing. So you tell them ghost stories about people who didn't do the right thing and how they're stuck in limbo forever. So, not everybody may have believed in the Bible, but you tell them a good ghost story. Yeah, you can get those extra people in there.
Yeah, and then, well, that's exactly what Christmas Carol is all about, isn't it? Is trying to get a man to, which I've always thought was very unfair. All Scrooge was doing was living his life. He just wanted to be left alone, just chilling, living his life, and then everyone gets annoyed with him because he wants to be by himself, and they're like, oh yeah, he keeps telling everyone to go away, and these people keep asking him for money, and it's his money. It's like, well, yeah, it's his money.
But actually, yeah, because he was doing a lot of debt collecting at Christmas, and that is a bit annoying when people decide to go collect their debts at Christmas.
Well, people shouldn't have taken the loans out then, should they?
Good point. Especially not to a shark like Scrooge.
Yeah, so I don't see why Scrooge had to change. I think Scrooge is a victim, and as we live in a society of victim and blame culture, I'm going to say that Scrooge was definitely a victim, and he should sue whoever is out there tried to take him down. Yeah, he was the victim.
Maybe something to do with must be something to do with sort of Marxism that was coming in at the time. But the words were spreading across about greed is not good. Start to share the wealth, which actually doesn't mean share the wealth. It just means take it from everybody and give it to one person.
Yeah. How very 2025 of us unpicking a story and adding modern day values.
Things never change, do they? They never change.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I bet if no, I'm not even going to continue that thought. Let's talk about some ghost stories then that happen at Christmas.
No, yeah,
Um,
just to be clear, are these ghost stories written at Christmas, or are these ghost stories that have been witnessed at Christmas? Are we talking real
these
ghost stories or fictional ghost stories?
We are talking real ghost stories. These
Okay,
are
cool.
ghosts who have been witnessed around Christmas time. So it's not written. They aren't
Okay,
made up stories, unless you don't believe that they're real, then, but they are not fictional stories like Christmas Carol. These are stories of ghosts that have been seen and witnessed around Christmas time.
okay. So no more talk of Dickens then.
Who knows?
Well,
Who
yeah, look at
knows?
your face. I can see your face. Well,
That wasn't even the one that I was going to start with, but as it is
let's not
Christmas
start with
Eve,
it.
well,
Okay,
as
go
it
on then.
is Christmas Eve today, and as we were just talking about him, we should probably talk about the fact that at the Corn Exchange in Rochester, every Christmas Eve at midnight. So if it's Christmas Eve at midnight, does that mean it's the start of the day, or does it? Yeah, it must be. If it's Christmas Eve at midnight, it must be the very beginning of
Yeah,
Christmas Eve. Must be the 24th, bang on 12.
yeah, because
Because what
otherwise it's
Christmas
the
Day at midnight would be
staying. Yeah, it starts at
20.
Chris
Yeah.
midnight.
So it must be between the 23rd and 24th then.
If
So,
anybody
yeah.
lives in Rochester, please hang around there midnight Christmas Eve and midnight Christmas Day just to let us know which one you see him.
Well, the thing is as this is going out Christmas Eve, all you need to do is go there
Ah,
tonight. If
yeah.
you do not see this ghost that we're about to talk about, then it
Then we
must
know it
be
happened last night.
23rd to
Perfect.
24th. It must be that midnight. There we go.
Perfect.
So
There we go.
yes.
It proves it's real.
Um, so and the ghost that is often seen there is Charles Dickens himself.
Did he live there? Or did he just like the Corn Exchange?
I have no idea what, but apparently he's seen every midnight on Christmas Eve. So every Christmas Eve at midnight, rather, he's seen to sort out his pocket watch and change the time. And yeah, as to why it's the Corn Exchange at Rochester, I I don't know.
I mean, where
Um,
would you come back to haunt on a Christmas Eve? I mean, would
um,
you really be hanging around the local Corn Exchange?
no, because I have no links to it at all. I think I would go and find somebody who absolutely loved Christmas to the point that they thought it was the best, happiest time of year, and I would just make it so it was the worst time of year for. Because as you know, I don't really like Christmas. I am, yeah, I think there's too much fake happiness and not enough real happiness. So yeah, I think I would go around to all the jolly, happy people and just,
Yeah,
haunt them.
yeah, it is. It is kind of a miserable time of year. I do hate Christmas.
Yeah.
That's why I've got. That's why I've kept up all the Halloween decorations this year.
Ah.
Yep, because it's just a better time of year. It's a happier time of year. There's a Dickens festival at Christmas at the Rochester Corn Exchange. There's a Dickens festival.
Yeah, but is that because his ghost appears there, or is it a
Mm,
marketing point?
good point. Um,
Hmm. Are they
hmm.
using his ghost as a selling point, or is the ghost a thing that they made up to do it?
Yeah, interesting. Interesting. Maybe we should next year. We know where we're going to be.
Ah, here we go. I found it. It's because he has a strong connection because it's where he spent his childhood years and then returned later in his life. So he does have links to Rochester.
Cool. Okay.
So that's why he appears there. One of these days we will actually do some proper research and find these facts
Yeah,
before the episode.
beforehand.
Anyway,
Because we do
let's.
because we do script these things so well. We have weeks of planning before we start.
Yeah, and it sounds like we have no idea what we're talking about. That's how great we
Uh,
are at
Yeah,
making these characters.
yeah, we
Uh,
heavily script that into it. How poorly researched
yeah,
we
we
are.
do. We should. This is why we should be script writers for something. Anyway, it is Christmas Eve. Let's travel to Haver Castle in Kent now. Because,
We could do if the trains weren't.
oh yeah,
It's
good
shut down for
point.
engineering works over Christmas. Yeah.
Well, if I said to you, Steve,
Yeah.
which ghost is absolutely everywhere across England that every old building seems to claim has this ghost there, and who would you say?
I would say it's got to be one of Henry VIII's wives, but I can't
Yeah,
remember which one. Is it
Anne
Anne
Boleyn.
Boleyn? Anne
Yeah,
Boleyn, isn't she's reported of being something like there's like 58 separate sightings of her or something like that. Um,
yeah, she
I'm
seems
sure
to
there's
be everywhere. Absolutely everywhere she seems to be. But in Haver Castle, apparently she walks around on Christmas Eve. She walks around the gardens and crosses the bridge over the River Eden, and sometimes dropping a sprig of holly into the water. Others report seeing her figure under a large oak tree and mysterious orbs or floating objects, but it all only happens on Christmas Eve.
does. It's just, yeah, reading about that. Yeah, for the first account of it was in 1976.
Yeah.
Claimed to have felt the presence of a young woman in the bedroom. So, okay, that's what the guy. That's what the wife says. That's what the husband said. I'm sure it's just the sound of a girl being distressed. It's a ghost. No one checked.
But you see, it's so interesting how she seems to be everywhere, Anne Boleyn. Um,
I, I
yeah.
um I went on a ghost walk a few weeks ago, and funny enough, we were talking about Anne Boleyn and the amount of sightings. Now, the theory that Kevin, who led the walk, who is also a spiritual medium, is that right? Really into ghosts. He says, as far as he's concerned, ghosts can be seen in multiple different locations because it's energy. And,
Okay.
the energy that leaves the body has to go somewhere, but also means that energy can be anywhere or everywhere at once, according to the laws of physics. So, technically, as far as he's concerned, that once you die, you can be in any location you want at any
Okay.
time, or you can be in multiple locations because the soul is just energy. And when it leaves, the energy can be dispersed wherever, whenever you want. And as far as he's concerned, it could be anywhere in time or space as well.
In that case, to go back to your question of where would I haunt, I would split myself into multiple things to everyone that I've known and just be really annoying and irritating and just annoy as many people that I know as possible. And then once everybody that I knew have also passed on as well, I'll then just try and figure out another thing. Like you said, time and space. I'll go
Yeah.
back in time and I will appear to Charles Dickens and be like, "Oh, if you don't change, I'm going to come after you." Oh, and then it'll be me that then wrote that was then the inspiration
Yeah,
for
you inspired me.
Christmas.
That's,
Yeah,
oh,
there we go.
wow. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It's saying, but if you asked the average 13-year-old boy, where would you haunt? It wouldn't be that.
No comment as to why I'm giggling there. Uh, but
That's like asking, what would your superpower be? I'd be invisible. Why is that? Wow.
uh,
Well, why would I want to be invisible? I don't know.
no, no idea, no idea. Um, Interesting. Another sighting that happened on a Christmas Eve of ghosts
Hmm.
goes back many months ago to a special that we did. Well, not a special, but an episode that we did. The two sailors in 50 Berkeley Square in
Yes.
London? That was
Yes.
Christmas Eve.
Was it?
It was Christmas Eve when the two sailors were in London and ended up with the whole incident that happened with them where they'd seen the ghost and one of them ran away and yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I still feel bad about the episode because I did make it sound really bad. That I yes, if anything, I still feel really guilty about that. Pretending that they were just found out as a couple, so one killed the other one, and then pretended it was all done over ghosts because he bumped into a policeman outside. It's either that or Yeah, being sent to Australia. What is?
Oh, I feel bad about it, so I'm just going to repeat what I feel bad
Yeah,
about.
I shouldn't really be talking about that. It's like, yeah, live and let live, but it wasn't like that back then, and
But yes, that
yes,
it was Christmas Eve that
that's the
those two
one.
sailors were there. Um,
Sharing a haunted attic on Christmas, a romantic Christmas Eve, which ended in bloodshed and
it did. Um, but yeah, so the one part of that story happened on Christmas Eve. And then there was and then I've lost my train of thought now, thinking about
sorry,
sailors in houses. Uh,
sharing, sharing
Sherry.
attic suites together.
Yeah, Sandringham. That's where I was thinking of. So Sandringham, obviously, that's where the monarch tends to go every Christmas. That's where they tend to spend their time in Norfolk in Sandringham House. However, apparently, starting on Christmas Eve and happening for a few weeks afterwards, there's poltergeist activity that happens in the servants' areas. And it started around the 20th century. So they would hear footsteps, doors that would close by themselves, lights going on and off, and sometimes in empty rooms they would hear heavy breathing. And Christmas cards would have moved by themselves, and that servants will refuse to enter certain rooms alone because of the phantoms and the ghosts that are there. And they do wonder whether it has links to George V or George VI because they both died at Sandringham. Now, I personally wonder, it's happening at Christmas, it's happening for a few weeks, it's around the 20th century. Is it just the kids?
Yeah, or
It
boggarts.
or
It sounds like a typical.
boggarts.
It sounds like boggart activity to me.
Yeah, it does sound like boggart
There's
activity.
ticking multiple boxes,
Yeah,
but yeah, it could just be the kids. That's a good point.
yeah, you know, because the house is normally empty apart from Christmas. So is it just like, is it just well, he would have been a prince then, but was it just Prince Charles running around like going, oh yeah, I'll move this around?
Just
Yeah,
annoy the servants. Yeah,
yeah. Um, but
I wonder if Queen Elizabeth II is haunting anywhere. No one's.
well, she absolutely loves Scotland, didn't she?
Yeah,
I,
because
so I
there's
think,
there's never stories of modern. They're always old monarchs who haunt, or princesses, or victims. Why do we not have any new modern ones?
maybe she walks up and down the Elizabeth line all day.
That's too busy now. Everyone would see that, wouldn't
um, but no, she absolutely loved. Oh, where was it? It was where she died in Scotland. The
it?
house. Not no, where it was. She loved that place in Scotland. What was it called?
Uh, can't remember. Go on,
Uh, not
quickly.
not Holyrood, the other one, because Holyrood is in Edinburgh. Balmoral.
Balmoral Castle.
Balmoral. She loved Balmoral. Yeah, so it would probably be Balmoral that she would haunt. Yeah. Um. Anyway, the last ghost story that I've got, probably the biggest one of this Christmas special, is the legend of the mistletoe bough, which the legend of the mistletoe bough is essentially a ghost story which seems to happen in a few different mansions and stately homes of a bride playing hide and seek, getting away from a crowd on her wedding day breakfast, hides in a chest and is unable to escape. She's then died, and the body is found many years later, locked in a chest, a skeleton in a wedding dress. And it's linked to loads and loads and loads of different mansions and stately homes across England. The most notable being the Brown Lady of Rainham Hall.
This is a different person, yeah.
Well, the Mistletoe Bride, there's loads and loads of stories. Mistletoe
Yeah.
Bough, there's loads of
I'm
stories,
just
but this is one of the mistletoe bough stories, and it's the Brown Lady of Raynham Hall.
Now, this is a cool one because this is one of the famous ghost photographs that was used to find in all the ghost books back in the day, back in the 70s. Sort of my favorite haunting books and ghost books of this white apparition coming down the stairs. It was like his old black and white photo, taken in 1936 ish.
Yes.
But it's a really famous story, a really famous photograph. But she's not wearing brown; she's white.
Yeah.
Uh,
She
but
kind of
yeah, so
looks
the
like
brown lady.
she kind of looks like one of the Jedi Force ghosts at the end of episode 6.
Exactly like it. Just that's what it is. Yeah, but really famous photograph. I remember seeing this one so many times. So what's the story of her? The story of her is that she was imprisoned by a jealous husband and died inside Raynham Hall. That's the one, isn't it?
Well, that's what a lot of the mistletoe bough stories are. Some of them linked around Christmas time, but a lot of it links to mistletoe. And this is the dupe. This is the link to Christmas is purely mistletoe. I just wanted an excuse to talk about the Brown Lady. But yeah, so they claim that the Brown Lady, the ghost, is actually Dorothy Walpole, who was one of the many children of Robert Walpole, the first
Sister.
Prime Minister.
She was his sister. One of his sisters. Apparently.
Oh, the sister of.
Yeah.
Because I've got two different.
We have two different versions of everything.
Yeah.
There's at least two different stories of everything we look at these days. I don't think there's ever one source of information, one story that's just got one definitive story behind it.
Oh, hang on. I think I've right. Okay. It's because where I'm getting confused is because there's two Robert Walpoles. There's the dad and the son. Yeah.
But this is
the dad, Robert Walpole, of which she is a daughter of, was a member of Parliament, but it was his son who was also called Robert Walpole that became the first Prime Minister.
Yeah,
that's where I'm getting confused. So she is the daughter of Robert Walpole, but the sister of the famous Robert Walpole. There we go.
She was married to Charles Townshend, who was notorious for his violent temper, apparently. And when he discovered that she had had an affair and committed adultery with Lord Wharton, he punished her by locking her in a room in the family house till she died. But somebody else also said that Dorothy was in fact entrapped by the Countess of Wharton, which was the wife of the man she had the affair with. The wife actually invited her over and then basically locked her in the cupboard until she died. So it sounds like apparently she died of smallpox, though.
Well, they claim she died of smallpox. However, there are quite a lot of stories that point towards the whole box death. Which is why she's linked to being one of the mistletoe bough ghosts. The difference is that whereas most of them they're seen in a white wedding dress, she's seen in a brown brocade dress. Brocade? I'm not sure how to say that, but brocade.
Okay. I don't know. It's definitely a fashion that doesn't actually. Let's see. No, I was going to say let's go to CNA. That's all. Yeah. Let's go to Primark. I'd like a brown brocade dress, please. I'd love to see the look on their faces from that.
And I've just seen where it comes from. So it has the same root word as broccoli.
Okay.
Which comes from the Italian broccato, meaning embossed cloth. So does that mean that the same
broccoli is?
Does that mean broccoli?
comes from the word embossed cloth.
Yeah, because it comes from the verb brocher, which means to stud or set with nails. Broco, small nail. And brocus, meaning projected or pointed.
Oh, we learned something new.
So broccoli has the same root word as a type of decoration on a dress. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Um,
Right. So we need to find something else because this is a special. We got to make it special somehow.
well, we've spoken about broccoli.
Broccoli, everybody, broccoli. We want
Which-
people to come back and listen, though.
Yeah, but I might be having broccoli on my Christmas dinner tomorrow. So, um, well, the thing that's quite special about this is, and there's a reason why I started with one ghost story and why I wanted to end on this one, because one of the sightings of the Brown Lady was by Captain Frederick Marryat, who was a naval officer. Oh, maybe he was at 50 Berkeley Square. He wasn't. Spoiler alert, he wasn't. But he was a good friend of Charles Dickens.
Oh,
And Captain Frederick Marryat was the author of some stories about the sea. So he was a writer as well.
wasn't Charles Dickens also seen at the Star Hotel? Was that Charles Dickens? I'm sure
Yes.
Charles Dickens also haunts the Star Hotel in Great Yarmouth.
He does.
He's another one getting around.
Yeah, but that's only two ghosts that we've had of Charles Dickens. Star Hotel and that one. There might be others.
Yeah, it's always why? Why is it always everyone has a celebrity ghost? Why is everybody got to have a celebrity ghost? Like, how come nobody has a duplicate of just a normal ghost? Everybody has to have Anne Boleyn, Charles Dickens, or I don't know, the White Lady.
Yeah, knowing my luck, I would have Jimmy Savile.
Oh,
Knowing my luck, I would be woken up by a ghost and it would be going, now then, how's about that then?
just get the smell of cigar smoke wafting through your bedroom.
Yeah. Oh, but
Find yourself paralyzed with the Christmas spirit.
Captain Frederick Marryat saw the Brown Lady in 1836, and apparently in 1926, Lady Townshend was with her son, and her son and his friend saw a ghost on the staircase, which they said looked very similar to the portrait of Lady Dorothy Walpole, which was hung in the haunted room, which the haunted room was the room that Captain Frederick Marryat had stayed in and had seen the Brown Lady. So the son and his friend said that they saw that the ghost that was on the staircase in 1926 was Dorothy Walpole, who was in the portrait in the haunted room. And then, of course, 10 years after that, the photograph by Captain Hubert Provand, which you mentioned about, was then taken of the ghost on the staircase.
Great photo. Apparently somebody think it's just a smear. Now, some people think somebody put a greasy smear down the print just to make it like distorted, but it does look like a character.
It does look like a person.
But also, some people then say they've actually seen evidence when you examine the photo of it's a double exposure. So, but the fact is that people have different theories how this picture could have been faked. There's no definitive proof that it's been faked, if you know what I mean, because people have different theories. So people spot different things. So there's as much chance of it being real as there is about somebody either using a smear or double exposure or whatever other, whatever theories they think they can use to debunk it. It's that thing, isn't it? When people try to debunk something, you have to come up with a definitive, this is what it is. Not it could be this, and it could be this, and it could be this, and it could be that. It means there's no evidence of it being faked.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm sure it's not real, but you've got to come up with like, this is how they did it. And it's like, then you've got to duplicate, replicate it, say, yeah, there we go. This is how we did. This is how I did it. This is how they did it. It's like the fairy pictures from the little girls with the
The
fairy,
little
the cut-out
girls,
fairies. Yeah, which caused people to believe in fairies again. And but it was they cut out pictures of fairies and had them in around them. That's all it was.
Yeah.
You can
Well, it's
replicate
funny
that.
you say it because one of the things that they claim of this staircase is that it's a statue of the Virgin Mary that you get from the Catholic Church, and that's what it is because the shape of it looks like
It
a
is
typical
very
statue.
much
Yeah.
like it. Yes, yeah,
So one of the
absolutely.
other things is that it's just one of those statues of the Virgin Mary or Madonna statue, whichever word terminology you want to use. They claim is that. But here's the interesting thing about the Brown Lady. She's been seen less there in
Hmm.
recent years, and they think they've seen her at Sandringham, where we've heard of poltergeist activity today, and Houghton Hall, which Houghton Hall would make sense because that's where her brother lived.
Hmm.
So she probably spent some time there with her brother.
Here's a
Yeah,
good photo. Here's a good
it
photo.
is a very good photo.
And this is the trouble now, isn't it? Like we were saying before, that with modern technology, there's more stuff which is quite obviously faked. But
Yeah,
back then, it was hard to do. I mean, it would have been quite an effort to actually fake this picture.
it would.
Was it 1936? Was it 1936?
1936.
Yeah, I mean, to fake this. Well, we're going to stick this on the website and on Patreon as well, just so people can see it.
Yes.
Um, but it is a good photo. So she's seen Christmas, is she? She's seen every
Well,
Christmas wandering the halls, apparently, until she
yes.
decided to move away to Sandringham.
Yes. So she was seen
That's
around Christmas time and is one of the mistletoe brides, apparently. So, which the mistletoe brides is purely because of mistletoe. Um, so it was sort of a tenuous link to Christmas, but it sort of has links to all of those other Christmas ghost stories,
hmm.
which is a bit weird.
But of course, you know what happens at Christmas time, don't you? People get very drunk, and they always have done.
Yes. And they
Yeah,
see things that
they
may
see
not
things.
actually
Yeah,
be there.
yeah. My dad used to see pink elephants when he used to
Elephants
be
on
elephant's
parade.
trunk. Yeah, he was. Oh, he would go, son, it's Christmas. We're all elephant's trunk again. He doesn't drink anymore,
I
but
wondered why you run around trying to flap your ears.
big enough. Yeah.
Oh,
God.
right.
Do you
Well,
know
I
what?
think
This I don't know about you, but Christmas, well, yeah, it used to be very heavy on the alcohol. And
yes,
most of Christmas it used to be a blur back in the old days. Um, Anything could have happened, and you could have quite easily said it was the spirits. It was a ghost, honestly. Honestly, I didn't touch you. It must have been Jimmy.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah, he must have just fell asleep in your bedroom.
yeah. Uh,
He was a sleep paralysis demon. That's awful, damn. We're never going to have this in there, are we?
I might leave it
this
in just
this is
because
definitely going to cut out.
yeah.
Like, okay,
When we've seen our episodes and we've seen
yeah,
listeners,
we know no one's listening at this point, so we can put it
people
on.
have got to
This
this point where they're not listening anymore. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
So this is what, yeah, I'm sure I've already said it. When Jimmy Savile followed us around the Devon holiday camp for a whole week, that was quite
yeah.
entertaining.
You
It's like,
see,
yeah,
you've told me that story, but you've never made it public knowledge on the podcast.
yeah. We were kids. We went to Devon on holiday, and there was this holiday camp where he used to hang around because it had. There was a couple of caravans there for the hospital we used to do stuff for. But he was there, and he just followed us around. He had this skimpy pair of white shorts on and a handkerchief on his head, and he followed us around everywhere we looked. He was following us. There was the four of us, and I was the oldest. I must have been 12, and everybody, the youngest must have been 8. And my other stepbrother, he's got a disability, and there's my sister as well. And he just followed us around for the whole weekend. Just everywhere we looked, we'd go to the shop in the morning, just the four of us, and there he would be looking in the window. But of course, he was a celebrity. But my
Yeah.
sister always said she found it very creepy. Yeah, but he followed us around. We got photographs to prove it as well.
You've shown me the photograph. I've
Yeah,
seen the
just
photograph.
sitting there with his little white shorts on, waiting for the new people to come by to see who he can see. Oh, some people. Yeah, this is didn't it back in the old days. You used to have ghosts to warn people, and you would have these evil characters would have become ghosts in themselves to as warnings, like Krampus. Like we talked earlier on about Krampus being encouraging kids to be good. There's no ghost stories about don't go with strangers, don't trust people. The ghost of Jimmy will come for you. These. There he is in his shiny shell suit, his shiny tracksuits, and his big cigar.
Oh dear!
Haunted you every.
Where have we got to with this one? I always know that it's time to end an episode when we start talking absolute nonsense. With no links to any of the stories.
Yeah, there is that. There is.
Yeah. But
so I'm gonna. Yeah. Good point. Good point. So I'm gonna say goodbye now.
Yeah, I think a Merry Christmas to all of our listeners. Unless you're not actually listening on the day of release, because it is Christmas Eve today. So if you are listening on the day of release, have a great festive period. Whatever you end up doing.
Yeah, and if you're not, hope you had a lovely summer.
Yes.
But, get too sunburnt this afternoon, did you? Hope not.
Yes, hope not. But yes, do give us a follow on all the socials, and if you're feeling very generous, especially as it's Christmas and it's the time of giving and goodwill to all man, then look at our Patreon. Give us a little bit of money on there, please. That would be a lovely Christmas gift to us. Thank you, please, sir. But yes,
shiny brown tuppence will come your way.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping for.
Get coal in your stocking again. That was it.
No, I'm going to go to bed early tonight, so Father Christmas will come and give me loads of lovely presents.
Hopefully, it's Father Christmas coming, not Jimmy.
And on that note, take care. Well, we're not going to see you next week because we're actually going to see you in 2 days' time because we've got a special episode coming out on Boxing Day. So it won't be see you next week. It'll be see you 2 days' time.
I thought I was going to say see you next Tuesday. Is it Chris? I can't remember what day it is. I don't even know what day it is now.
Well, today it is actually a Wednesday,
Okay.
So it's a normal release day for us. So that means it's actually going to be Friday.
See you next Friday. I'll see you for this Friday.
Well, this Friday, 2 days
this
time.
Friday.
Yeah, tomorrow's Christmas Day, which is Thursday, and then Boxing Day is Friday.
No one's going to listen to us on Boxing Day, are they?
No.
I might do. I might listen.
Well, I hope so, because if not, how are we going to do it? If you're not there.
Good point. Good point. So now the question is, shall we be drunk or sober for this one?
Well,
As if anyone thinks we're sober now anyway. Are we?
Well, people are going to have to find out. Come back on Boxing Day for our Boxing Day special. Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Boo-Foons, mystery investigators.